Russian authorities have reported a drone attack on the city of Kursk. A fire broke out when the drone had hit a railway station. At least 5 people were injured. Russia added that Ukrainian drones had struck 3 separate regions on Sunday. 2 of Moscow's airports were temporarily closed to divert flights. The Rostov region also reported a drone strike. This region shares a border with Ukraine. Danish Prime Minister Mette Frederiksen has said that the country will supply Ukraine with 19 F-16 fighter jets. 6 of these fighter jets will be sent around the new year. The Netherlands has also promised to provide Ukraine with F-16s. The country has a total of 42 F-16 fighter jets in its fleet, and it's not known how many will be given to Ukraine. This is the first real pledge by Ukraine's allies to provide it with the jets that it's been demanding for months now. Turkey's President Recep Tayyip Erdogan met with Hungarian Prime Minister Viktor Orbán in Budapest on Sunday. The 2 leaders discussed bilateral ties and cooperation between the countries. Reports say that Erdogan and Orbán also discussed Turkey's accession process to the European Union, among other regional and international issues of common concern. North Korean leader Kim Jong Un oversaw a test of strategic cruise missiles. This comes as the United States and South Korea kicked off their annual military drills. The drills have been named the Ulchi Freedom Shield. It's designed to enhance the 2 countries' joint response to North Korea's evolving nuclear and military threats. Pyongyang sees the latest drills as a rehearsal for war. Taiwan's defense ministry has released footage of its fighter jets taking off for combat air patrol. This comes a day after Beijing carried out military drills around the island. Taiwan said that 25 Chinese Air Force planes crossed the Taiwan Straits median line. This line served as an unofficial barrier between the 2 sides until Chinese military aircraft began regularly crossing it. Pro-coup demonstrators marched to Niger's capital Niamey on Saturday. They called upon foreign powers to engage in diplomacy with their military rulers. This comes as the country's new ruler, Abdurrahmane Tiani, called for a 3-year timeline to reinstate constitutional rule. The West African regional bloc, ECOWAS, recently doubled down on its threat to use force as the last resort to restore democracy in Niger. Cambodia's King Norodom Sihamoni inaugurated the country's new parliament on Monday. This comes weeks after Cambodia concluded its general election in July. The outgoing Prime Minister Hun Sen and his son and incoming Prime Minister Hun Manet also attended the ceremony. Cambodia's parliament will vote to approve the new government cabinet members on Tuesday. The swearing-in ceremony will take place on Tuesday at the Royal Palace. The Central American country of Guatemala is marking center-left candidate Bernardo Arevalo's victory in the presidential runoff. He got over 59% of the votes. His opponent, Guatemala's former First Lady Sandra Torres, received about 36% of the vote. India's Chandrayaan-3 has moved closer to the moon and is all set to soft land on its surface in 2 days. The Indian Space Research Organisation, or ISRO, released images of the far side of the moon captured by the Lander Hazard Detection and Avoidance Camera. The lander was launched on July 14th. 35 days later, the lander module successfully separated from the propulsion module. Russia's first lunar mission in decades has ended in failure. The Luna 25 spacecraft crashed on the moon's surface. The incident happened after communication with the robotic spacecraft was interrupted. The news came a day after the spacecraft reported an emergency situation as it was trying to enter a pre-landing orbit. In climate news, tropical storm Hillary has lashed Mexico's Baja California peninsula. It made landfall on Sunday. The storms have brought torrential rainfall. Reports say one person has died due to the floods. Mexico's Navy had also evacuated more than 800 people from nearby areas. Meanwhile, in the U.S. state of California, Storm Hillary brought heavy rains and fierce winds. Officials have ordered evacuations in the region. Tropical Storm Hillary is said to be the wettest storm ever to hit the U.S. Southwest. This is according to a meteorologist at the U.S. National Weather Service. A wildfire swept through Spokane County in America's capital, Washington, D.C. The fire has left one person dead and destroyed 185 structures. As of Sunday, only 10% of the flames were contained. Washington's governor has declared a state of emergency. A wildfire burned through a forest in the U.S. state of New Jersey on Sunday as well. The fire spanned across 80 hectares of the forest area. Emergency response crews were actively working to contain the blaze. In the U.S. city of Maui, the search for victims continues. Rescue teams with dogs have sifted through the charred remains of the Hawaiian city. Earlier, Hawaii's governor had said that the death toll was expected to rise further. Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has called the country's wildfire situation extraordinarily serious. He said that the federal government is actively coordinating with regional and local governments. This is to protect residents and property. He also vowed that Canada's government will help rebuild the fire-hit communities. Meanwhile, Canada's British Columbia has declared a state of emergency. The province has ordered the evacuation of 15,000 families in the region. Officials have urged the public to cancel non-essential travel to fire-affected areas. The World Meteorological Organization has warned that the summer of extremes is still ongoing. This comes as several European countries brace for a new heat wave. Meanwhile, heat and dry weather have contributed to unusually severe wildfires in Canada. It has also led to extreme wildfires in the U.S. state of Hawaii and Spain's Canary Islands. Sea levels in the Southwest Pacific are rising faster than the global average. This is according to the World Meteorological Organization. The WMO has said that water levels were rising about 4 millimeters per year in some areas. This is a threat to low-lying islands in the region. Over time, this could lead to the islands getting flooded. At least 7 children have died in a fire in eastern Congo. The fire broke out at a camp for people displaced by floods. Hundreds of families have been living in makeshift huts in the region since May. This was after devastating floods destroyed their homes. In business and tech news, US-based Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser is reportedly considering disbanding the bank's biggest division. This would split Citi's institutional clients group into 3 primary business segments. This will be investment and corporate banking, global markets, and transaction services. The potential move comes as the CEO of Citi's institutional clients group is set to leave in the first half of 2024. Chipmaker Intel is slashing at least 140 jobs in another round of layoffs. The positions will be eliminated from its US operations. This will take effect at the end of this month. Back in May, Intel had announced its plan to cut jobs. It had then said that the move would help the company mitigate costs amid a challenging macroeconomic environment. A lawsuit has been filed against the online gaming platform Roblox. The suit, filed in the US, accuses Roblox of illegally facilitating child gambling. While gambling is not allowed on the platform, the lawsuit targets third-party sites. They allegedly invited children to play blackjack, roulette, and other games using Roblox's in-game currency. A group of lawmakers have filed a lawsuit against Australia's Qantas Airways. They've accused the airline of failing to fairly refund passengers for flights cancelled during the pandemic. The suit says that this helped Qantas make illegal profits by retaining billions of dollars of customer funds. California's auto regulator is investigating carmaker General Motors' Cruise robo-taxi. This is over a recent crash. Last week, a Cruise robo-taxi crashed into an emergency vehicle in San Francisco. The Californian regulator has also asked Cruise to immediately reduce its fleet of vehicles by 50%. Just last week, California voted to allow the round-the-clock operations of robo-taxis. Tesla has obtained new information regarding a data breach that took place in May this year. The breach compromised the information of more than 75,000 people. The company says it has found that 2 former employees were involved in this breach. Tesla has filed lawsuits against the employees. India's Tata Motors is in discussions with multiple startup companies. This is regarding a partnership for its $5 billion UK battery plant. The partnership could range from a joint venture to experimentation and licensing agreements. Tata aims to begin mass producing electric vehicle batteries at the factory in 2026. India will use artificial intelligence to expand digital payments to rural areas. The country's central bank recently unveiled a plan for conversational payments. Under this, users of the Universal Payments Interface or UPI will be able to make transactions verbally. The verbal payment instruction will be processed using AI-based speech recognition. The service will first be available in the English and Hindi languages before expanding to other languages. Elon Musk has said that his social media company X will remove the block feature. The feature allows a user to restrict specific accounts from contacting them, seeing their posts, or following them. However, Musk said the site formerly known as Twitter will retain the mute function. Users can mute accounts to stop seeing posts from them. The Canadian government has asked Meta platforms to lift a ban on domestic news from its platforms. The government says that this will allow people to share information about wildfires in the country. Earlier this month, Meta started blocking news on Facebook and Instagram for all users in Canada. This was in response to a new law requiring internet giants to pay publishers when their platforms displayed news articles. Moving to sports. In cricket, India beat Ireland by 33 runs in the second T20 international match in the ongoing series. The Jasprit Bumrah-led side scored 185 runs in 20 overs. India now lead the 3-match series 2-0 with a game yet to be played. The two sides will meet again to play the final match on Wednesday. New Zealand won the third and final T20 international match in their ongoing series against the UAE. This was on Sunday. They beat the UAE by 32 runs to clinch the 3-match series 2-1. New Zealand batted first and had set a target of 167. The UAE only managed to score 134 in their 20 overs. In football, Spain have won their first ever 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup title. They beat England 1-0 to become the world champions. Spanish captain and defender Olga Carmona scored the winning goal in the 29th minute. Manchester City beat Newcastle United 1-0 in the Premier League on Sunday. Man City forward Julian Alvarez scored the only goal of the match. The defending champions will next play against Sheffield United on Sunday. Meanwhile, Aston Villa beat Everton 4-0 yesterday. All 4 goals were scored by different players. The second goal was a penalty converted by Brazilian midfielder Douglas Luiz. Villa will now travel to Burnley next Sunday. West Ham beat Chelsea 3-1 in the English Premier League. West Ham opened the scoring with a header. Chelsea levelled the game in the 28th minute. But the Hammers put 2 away in the second half, taking the game away from the Blues. West Ham's next match is against Brighton on Saturday. US football club Inter Miami clinched the League's Cup trophy on Saturday. They beat Nashville on penalties. Lionel Messi gave Miami the lead with the opening goal in the 23rd minute. Nashville's Fafa Picault scored in the second half to level the match. Nothing separated the two teams at the end of regular play, sending the match to a penalty shootout. Miami then defeated Nashville SC 10-9 on penalties. In tennis, men's world number 2 Novak Djokovic took his revenge on world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz in the Cincinnati Open on Sunday. The two had recently faced each other in the Wimbledon final. Alcaraz had gotten the better of Djokovic in London, but the veteran Serb returned the favor yesterday. Djokovic lost the first set 5-7, but then rallied back 7-6, 7-6. After the match, Alcaraz burst into tears and Djokovic tore his shirt to celebrate the epic win. Meanwhile, American Coco Gauff clinched the Cincinnati Open women's title. Gauff beat Karolina Muchova of the Czech Republic 6-3, 6-4 in straight sets. This is Gauff's second title this month. The 19-year-old had won the Washington Open 2 weeks ago. America's Noah Lyles won the 100 meters race at the 2023 World Athletics Championships in Budapest yesterday. Lyles reached the finish line in 9.83 seconds. This is the fastest 100-meter time clocked this year. In the world of entertainment, after ruling the box office for 4 weekends, the Barbie movie has now fallen to second place. DC's superhero movie Blue Beetle has taken the top spot. Blue Beetle opened to an estimated $26 million in North America. The film earned $18 million in 63 international markets, bringing its overall box office release to about $44 million. Major Hollywood studios and the Writers Guild of America are all set to meet this week for negotiations. This comes after the Hollywood studios presented their counteroffer to the striking writers last week. The two sides met about 4 times last week. The WGA strike has entered its 109th day. Singer Miley Cyrus's mother, Tish Cyrus, has remarried. She married Prison Break actor Dominic Purcell in a small wedding in California's Malibu. Miley Cyrus and her sister Brandy Cyrus were bridesmaids. Tish Cyrus announced her engagement to the actor more than a year after she filed for a divorce from her former husband Billy Ray Cyrus. The two separated after almost 30 years of marriage. Singer Britney Spears has broken her silence on her divorce. Spears says that she has been playing it strong for way too long in private. She also noted that what she posts on social media may seem perfect, but it is far from reality. Spears' husband, Sam Asghari, recently filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. This happened just 14 months after their marriage. American media personality Khloe Kardashian's friend, Khadija Huck, has announced a split with her husband, Bobby McRae. The two have 3 children together and are separating after 13 years of marriage. McRae also has an 18-year-old son from his previous relationship. Huck and McRae have been notoriously private about their relationship, despite being together for over a decade. Lizzo's dance crew's Big Girl and Big Boy are showing their support for the singer. In an open letter, the crew members said, "Thank you, Lizzo, for shattering limitations and kicking in the doorway for the dancers." This comes after Lizzo faced a lawsuit filed by some of her former dancers. Lizzo has been accused of sexual harassment and creating a toxic work environment. K-pop band BTS's member Jungkook has opened up about why he thinks people love K-pop music despite language barriers. He said K-pop is a pleasure to the eyes and the ears. He believes there are a lot of related elements and contents and thinks that is what captivates so many people. When asked which song he would suggest to a person who has never heard K-pop, Jungkook named BTS's 2018 song Idol. He said the song has a powerful vibe. Meanwhile, another BTS member, RM, has shared a powerful message with fans worried about gaining weight. RM said, "It's okay, the weight always comes and goes, just look at me." When interacting with BTS fans, nicknamed the Army, RM also answered questions related to stress. He said, "Every day is a test." Internet personality Lil Ts' mother, Angela Tian, has broken her silence over the recent death hoax involving her daughter. Talking about the custody of her children, Tian said, and I quote, "This experience has put us in a constant state of severe depression." Tian and Ts' father, Christopher Hope, have been engaged in a custody battle for several years now. The latest statement comes days after Lil Tay and her brother were announced dead on social media. A few days later, Tay confirmed that she is alive and safe. Actor Ron Cephas Jones has died aged 66. He died due to a long-standing pulmonary issue. The actor was famous for his role in the hit drama series This Is Us. Cephas Jones played the role of William Hill. Actor Mandy Moore, who played Rebecca Pearson in the show, paid an emotional tribute to her co-star. She said, "Getting to know and work with Ron on the wild ride of This Is Us was the greatest gift."